to do it for a while, but get tired of with life. And a couple of you guys been asking me to give my 2 cents on it, so I guess I will. But I got a chance to listen to the album, and like I said before, when I do album reviews, I like to listen to it more than once. I usually listen to the album about 3 or 4 times before I really give a perspective on it. That's kind of what I do in my my career. Part of my job is to analyze albums and make a decision whether it's right to reach the public. And when I listened to the album, the first thing I noticed that stood out about it was the production. I thought the production was real good on it. I heard he worked with Swiss Beats, Pharrell, Timbaland, Rick Rubin. Although I don't think any of his tracks made the actual album, but the production stood out, and I think that was probably the best thing about the album was the production. It was different. It didn't sound like anything else that was out. It had similarities, but it was still different as far as the way the beats and everything were put together. A couple of tracks that stood out to me was I like the joint he did with Frank Ocean. It was called Oceans. I like Picasso Baby. I like the way he started out the album with Holy Grail featuring Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake, he put that somewhat soul on it. Somebody else could have done that, but I get what he was trying to do, reach a different demographic with putting Justin Timberlake on there. And we all know, Justin Timberlake likes the soul, and he uses that a lot in his music. But I like the first joint that he used to start the whole album off, because when you heard that first record, Justin Timberlake did a good job. He put a different type of perspective on a different sound that I haven't heard from him. It's still, we've heard the solo records from Justin Timberlake, but it was a certain type of passion behind it that I haven't heard from Justin Timberlake. So I thought, he did a good job on that record. A couple of joints that I felt like was kind of like, why is it even on the album was Fuck With Me, I Got It. That was featuring Rick Ross. And it wasn't that this record just totally shouldn't have been on the album, but it was just like the feature featuring Rick Ross. Rick Ross just sound lost on the track. Some artists just should not do records with artists that are not in their caliber. It's just his flow sounds simple, and it didn't really coincide with what Jay-Z was doing on his verse. It's just, Rick Ross was like, okay, why are you even on this record? But, that was one that I was kind of iffy about. And, going back to the flow, I know it's Jay-Z, over the past couple of years, he's changed up his flow a lot. I know that when you're an artist that came out in the 90s, part of staying relevant is moving with the times. You can't be in that 94, 95 zone, and you can't be able to make a record off of a Young Chop beat or one of these new producers that's out here right now. You have to be able to move with time, but at the same time still be yourself as an artist. And I noticed that Jay-Z has switched his flow up a little bit. I noticed he's flowing like a lot of these young dudes, and that's something that I don't like about Jay-Z. I think part of what makes him Jay-Z is that he has his own style, his own flow, and he does him. You don't have to follow behind the flow of a Chief Keef or a Future or one of these young guys that's hot and bubbling right now to remain relevant. And I know he's kind of dumbed down his flow. And even as far as some of his lyrics, his lyrics were okay, was decent, not nothing that he was spitting like on the Blueprint 2 or Reasonable Doubt or nothing like that. But his lyrics were okay. But for you guys that don't know, Jay-Z went platinum before the record even dropped, because he signed a deal, I believe it was with the iPhone company, where anybody who bought the iPhone would have the Jay-Z album pre-order already on the phone, which I thought was a great business move. And that's part of what makes Jay-Z this big mogul, is that he makes the right moves. Now every artist cannot do that. You have to have a certain type of respect, I would say, in the music culture, and you have to be a certain caliber of artist to be able to pull something like that off, because although it was a great business move, you have to be careful of who does that move, because you can also lose money. And like I said before, me being somebody who knows the outs and ins and outs of the music industry, fans buy into people nowadays. We're long gone from when you can just make a dope album and be able to tour for 2-3 years off of that one album. Now, fans want to hear music back to back. People have a short attention span nowadays, so it's like you have to consistently keep putting out music, keep getting on features, just basically stay in the public eye. And people buy into people. It's not just your music. You look at somebody like a Nicki Minaj. When she first came out, she had the whole gimmick thing going on, the Barbie shit. We didn't really know what she was gonna do next, and all that alone, people bought into her. It wasn't that she was just such a great artist. It was the fact that some people messed with her music, but at the same time they bought into who she was as a person. And that's what people have done with Jay-Z. They buy into who he is as a person. So it's like anything that Jay-Z stamps his name on is going to become hot. So I thought that was a great business move on his part and on the iPhone company's part. But not to get too far off topic, I thought it was a pretty decent album. Not its best. Is it a classic? No, but it's a good it's a good album. I would give it maybe an 8 out of 10. Another song that was probably my favorite record on the joint was what's the name of that joint? It's the one he has with I think it's called Part 2 on the Runs with Beyonce. I just like the whole production on. I like the way Beyonce vocal sounds on the record. I like what he was saying on the record. It was a real good, feel good type of record. I blast it all the time in my car. So, that was probably one of my personal favorites. I like Picasso, Baby. I like La Familia, although that's one of the ones that a lot of people complain about. It's the whole album is a pretty decent album. But that's basically my point of view on it. What I thought about it. I do think Jay-Z should step it up creative-wise on his next album, because this album, it had a little creativity, but it wasn't up to his standards. To be called one of the best, or to be this mega icon figure, you have to stand to those times, stand to those type of pressures. And that's all I got to say about the album. I do want to see him step it up a little bit as far as the creativity, get back to his own flow, and just do Jay-Z. Don't be so focused on moving with the times or what's going to be relatable to the people. Keep that in mind, but at the same time, you don't have to do that on the whole album. But that's all I got to say. Y'all give me y'all feedback for you guys that have heard the album, checked it out. Let me know what's your favorite joint on there. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.